almost like I know you're a giant wrestling guy, and I felt like when I was a young Thundercat, right? This is almost like the amazing time of the year. The road to WrestleMania starts. The Royal Rumble is one of the best events every year, and it's officially Rumble Eve.
Wait, what did you say back when you were what?
When I was a young Thundercat,
You so you're not a young Thundercat anymore?
not anymore, bro. I got the facial hair, I got the mustache. Yeah,
Okay.
dude.
Since when?
What you mean since when?
Since when have you not been a young Thundercat?
I feel like whenever, once you start to get a little peach fuzz up here, once you can, now obviously I can't grow as good of a beard as you can, but like once you start to get, like the whole face of facial hair, it's like, all right, dude, it start to, now is when you're seasoned.
Well, I saw a woman with a beard as pretty much as filled out as yours and a
Yeah.
mustache the other day at Starbucks. But we won't get into that. Hey, welcome to the Legends Clubhouse. I am Bobby Kaboose, as always. Through my camera, through his camera, in a bunch of ones and zeros, and he shows up on his screen live from the great state of Florida. What's going on, Lawson? How are you, man?
Oh, we're chilling, dude. I mean, there's a lot of exciting stuff this weekend. We got the Rumble tomorrow. We got another UFC event that's always exciting. And then we got the Pro Bowl on Sunday.
Yeah, we get to see Shadur play. That's great. And we have a
Hold up the ring.
huge college basketball game tonight too.
Yeah.
Between Michigan and Michigan State.
I
Both
thought,
teams are ranked in the top seven. For the
oh,
first time ever, these two teams are playing when both teams are in the top seven. So,
hmm
that's what I will be watching tonight over at a buddy's house. And yeah, then the Royal Rumble tomorrow. Like you said, the road to WrestleMania. We'll see who punches their ticket to the grandest stage of them all.
hmm
And yeah, Sunday we have the Pro Bowl, which no one's gonna watch. So, um, guess what has gone on since Wednesday? Anything with you?
Um,
I feel like
nothing.
you're still in the same shirt that you arrived in.
No, it's colored now. On Wednesday it
Uh,
was on Wednesday it was white. Now today it's colored and white.
okay. Do you only wear white?
Um, I just think white looks nice, so I like a lot of white stuff. Yeah.
Is it because you're trying to look like Jesus, or
Don't get into my potential Halloween costume this year.
it was your Halloween costume last year, wasn't it? On the
That was
show?
that was biker Jesus.
So
What's
you have different renditions of Jesus that you play on Halloween?
yeah?
What's next year? Like Bakery
Wait,
Jesus?
wait and find out.
We won't be friends then, so it won't matter. Um, but anyway, dude, I never wear white. Like white, like it's white. I will get dirty.
hmm
Like I just don't do well with
Just
white.
not a fan.
I got a nice white Michigan State hoodie that I have to have spot cleaned a little bit because a little bit of red stuff got on it. I got a Lions T-shirt somewhere in my pile of clothes,
hmm
and the white just doesn't come out very often for me. It's
Yeah.
usually dark colors, whether it's black, blue. I fuck with some gray,
Mm.
but the white it's the white looks crispy when it's clean, but as
hmm
soon as it's clean, it looks gross.
Right.
So, but yeah, man. So we got together Wednesday. What happened Wednesday? I don't know. What happened yesterday? I don't know. Dude, it's basically. It feels like we got done at like 1:30 on Wednesday. It feels
hmm
like 1:45 on Wednesday. Like I don't know what happened in the last 2 days. Um, but
Nice.
yes, it's my favorite PLE of the year. The
Really?
Royal.
That's
Oh yeah.
awesome.
So me and the boys, um, we have a bingo caller,
hmm
and we have numbers 1 through 30 in there, and we pick numbers 1 through 30. We each throw in like $20 per rumble, and if your guy wins, You know, you win the
Huge
pot.
pot. That's awesome.
We also have a side pot on who gets the most minorities, mainly black guys. So there's a selection of them. We count the Samoans as a half, so there will be
That's
a winner,
insane.
or most likely. That's a little side pot of ours. My boy T the Monster, he actually came up with it. So, it's
Shout out T.
great. Yeah, great little side pot. Get some more money in there. Um, and yeah, man, it's a good
So hold
time.
on. So do you get
One
one
year,
number, or do you go until you? So hold on. So do you get one number, or do you guys continuously, like, you have an order and you get like 19? You get, like, 8 numbers per person.
yeah. So usually we have like 5 or 6 people. So each person gets like 5 to 6 superstars in the Rumble. The most I think we've ever had was 7, which we did like we had to draw numbers to get the extra guy.
Yeah.
And he got 4. One year, the little bowl
Mm-hmm.
from the Los Matadors or whatever the hell their name was.
El Torito.
Um, yeah, El Torito. He was my best guy
That's
in the
awesome.
Rumble. He lasted the longest. I think I had like both primetime players in that Rumble, him and like Heath Slater. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad I fucking showed up for today. But yeah, it's fun. It's dude, if you were here up in Michigan, if you would join us for a Royal Rumble one year, I almost guarantee that you win. It's almost every new person that comes along usually wins one of the Rumbles.
Yeah.
I think I've won once out of the probably 10 years that we've been doing this. But it's a fun time, man. And it's, like I said, it's probably my favorite, or it is my favorite event of the year, just with the surprises.
Can I get it?
The
Can I get in on it virtually, or no? I got to be in person.
Not get it. No, we had we so there's this other dude that we used to hang out with that used to be part of this.
Hmm.
His brother was hosting one year, right? So I kind of got invited as a tag along between him and another guy that I'm still cool with, my boy Sam WO. Shout out to Sam. But we go to his brother's house, and I bring some cash so we can do our Rumble stakes. And when I ask about it, I am told by the dude's brother that I cannot get in it because some dude that was at work who wasn't even going to be watching the Rumble was in it. And I'm like, okay, well, you can go fuck yourself, and I will never be coming to your house again, and I hope you burn in hell. And
Wow.
no, because his brother's a dickhead anyway. So, like, I was like, okay, for example, we still go to this bar
Hmm.
weekly, almost weekly. But I used to go with a group of guys to watch football every Sunday.
Right.
We get up there at noon. I have my 3 foot plastic alien named Bibble
Hmm.
that we would put a Lions jersey on. We bring him up, and we were sitting. This was like week 1 or 2 of the NFL, and the Tigers were on. And the Tigers were, I think it was game 162. And so it was early in the NFL season. And the Tigers needed to win to make the playoffs. Like it was basically a playoff game, I think, between them and like the Twins or something.
Yeah.
And the guy is like his brother goes, "What the fuck? Why is baseball on? The fuck? I came here to watch the Lions." Mind you, one TV was the Tigers and 20 other TVs was the Lions. And I'm
Right.
like, maybe because this is fucking pretty much a playoff game and versus your week 3 fucking fantasy bullshit. Like, shut the fuck up and you're not allowed here anymore. And he
Right.
didn't come in.
That's
He's a
amazing.
fucking. But anyway, yeah, you have to be present unless we have an
That's no
odd
fun.
number. If we have a number that isn't that divisible into third, like if we have 4, you
Yeah.
might be able to get 5th,
I was
or if
gonna
we
say,
have
well, yeah.
5,
Uh-huh.
be able to get our 6th. As long as it's even numbers, I'll throw it out there. But
Yeah, bro. I was
yeah,
gonna say, because that's super awesome to where it's like, it's a great concept too, and it's also the you get a little spice on the game.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's we usually get some kind of food catered, whether it's Chicken Shack. I don't know if you have a Chicken Shack down there. Um,
I mean, we've got a couple,
or
but I'm
last
sure that like the names are probably different.
Yeah, last year my buddy actually won a raffle to get free catering from like a Mediterranean place.
That's
So he got
awesome.
like $200 worth of food like for us, and there's like six of us. Like I'm like, dude, you're gonna be eating this shit for like a week. Um, and so it's just a fun time, man. Speaking of the Rumble, like so back in my day, before Mr. Turner was born,
Before
back
I
in the
was a young
90s,
Thundercat.
the greatest probably decade in the history of mankind.
Hmm.
But anyway, as a child, my dad would take me to the local video store. Usually it wouldn't be a Blockbuster or a Hollywood Video until later in life, but there was one right across the street called Now Showing Video. He would take me there on Friday nights to rent either a video game or a VHS cassette, which I don't know if you know what that one of those are, but so when I would rent a movie, I would rent wrestling pay-per-views.
Hmm.
And a lot of times I would run the Royal Rumbles because they were my favorite. So I am a Royal Rumble expert. At one point, I could name every winner from the first one to about number 30. And now between like the 2010s and current is kind of foggy for me.
Hmm.
Maybe because that's when I started taking edibles and stuff, but the memory is not great. So I can get up to a certain point, and then I can get there with some hints. I know the winners around the times,
Hmm.
but anyway, are you a Royal Rumble fanatic like I am, or
When
are you
I
just
am I just what lame?
lame?
When I was when I was super into wrestling, I loved the Royal Rumble just purely off the shock factor of like the surprise entrances. That's what always drew me because I'm like, oh, I wasn't around when Diesel was, wrestling, but Big Daddy Cool coming in at, 31, or I think it was 31 in 2011 when they had the 40-man Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Um, he came in, I always thought it was awesome when Hacksaw Jim Duggan would come in with that big ass 2x4.
Oh.
Yeah, dude. The surprise entrances to me, and I saw Triple H, on ESPN the past couple days say, "Oh, there's going to be great surprises from in both Rumbles," and I'm like, well, you know, Hunter, we've seen what you think's about to be amazing, and it might turn out to be amazing from backstory perspectives 8 months later. But
Yeah.
for a Royal Rumble for a one night event, I want my shock factor. Like example, I'm sure we'll get into surprise entrances, but I want Chris Jericho in at 30. That's the crazy shit I want.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think Chris Jericho is going to be in it. That's like the big rumor. I wrote an article last night about five people that would for people who would love to see in this Rumble, and I think Y2J is number one. He is rumored to be in it. The entire internet wrestling community thinks he's going to be entering in this Rumble. Um, and it'll be a nice welcoming home. I'm not sure if he signed a contract yet with them, but this is the perfect time to do that. And a lot of times I know they do that, the day of, so it's like
Hmm.
really
I saw
um
sorry to cut you off. I saw WWE filed a trademark for the word Judas.
yeah,
So a lot of people are like, oh,
yeah,
they're filing the trademark of the team with Fozzy for him to get his entrance song, and I'm like, well, I'm kind of a see it, especially when it comes to the rumors, because around
hmm,
this time or a couple months prior, every year there's the the fucking Royal Rumble entrances get leaked, and so I think I saw one where it's like for the women's page was coming in at 30, and my dad's a wrestling head too, and so when I was telling that to him, and I was like, oh, one of the big surprises that's rumored on Twitter now, once again it's a rumor, so I'll take it with a grain of salt, his page at 30, and my dad was like, yes, because
yeah.
he was a
I remember.
super
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember
he's a
your
super page head.
yeah. I was a super fan of Paige.
Yeah,
So you mentioned the 40 man. I wish they would bring that back. I kind of wish that they would do that every year because you have these surprise entrances like, I Show Speed or, back in the day, like Drew Carey or,
yeah.
Name Your Celebrity or commentator or whatever. And I like those spots, but they're not going to win. So like I would rather have them, take the 30, bump it up to 40 and have 10,
Guest spots.
surprise
Hmm.
guys that that aren't going to win. Um
I think I remember
I do
in that
think
2011, literally all three people from commentary into the Rumble. Like I remember Jerry Lawler entered, Michael Cole entered, and then Booker T came out earlier on, and I was like, dude, that's awesome.
yeah, and JBL I think
Hmm.
entered when he was sitting at the commentary, which was cool. Um But yeah, I think it could be. I think you could do that, but I don't like it when there's so much of it and there's only 30 guys, and then you're like, well, you just wasted a spot or a couple spots on some guys that you have no chance at
It's
winning.
it's kind of like the like whenever fans and stuff do top fives or top tens and there's 12
Mhm.
guys where well there's only that's the problem with top tens and rankings and stuff like that is there's only that many spots. So
Right.
if they were to keep it to 30 and you want to do 8 to 10 surprises or whatever the case may be, that's 8 to 10 spots you're taking away from other, whether it be younger talent or people that are on fire. And
Absolutely.
it's just that when you take up so many spots, it's like once again, if Jericho comes back for the Rumble, do we really think that they would push Jericho to win the Rumble?
Right.
Probably not.
And so I also think, especially with the partnerships with TNA and AAA, you
Hmm.
can definitely up to 40 and have almost like 10 have 10 representatives between those two and your celebrity spots. And or, a big pop guy like, have,
Joe Hendry.
whether yeah, Joe Hendry, Boogeyman. I mentioned in my article Disco Inferno. I don't even know.
Hmm.
I think you know who that is. But the guy was so annoying and like it was such like it was a meme before a meme, but yet he was decent in the ring and he was like the TV champion for a little bit. I think he might have won the cruiserweight championship in WCW, but he's never been in WWE. And I thought as far as a WCW guy that has never been in the WWE, as far as someone that could get the biggest pop, I think it could be him, and everyone would be like, "What the fuck is this?" And he's only 59 years old. I looked it up because I was like, "Is he too old to get
Yeah.
in the ring one more time for like a 30-second cameo?" And he's not. So please reach out to Disco Inferno within the next maybe 2 years because it's coming down to the point where he can't probably enter. But I think it would be a huge pop. Um, I would love to see a celebrity in there. I always think that's fun. Especially like with when Drew Carey's out there like celebrating, and then Kane's music comes out, and he's like, "Oh fuck, I'm actually in this, and
Here comes the
I
big
need
red
to,
machine.
yeah, I need to run away and get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
But we have a. It seems like I don't know much of the undercard, but it seems like we got a super solid one with
Hmm.
Gunther and AJ Styles.
I'm
With
about to look
AJ
up the
Styles,
card.
do you think Gunther ends AJ Styles' WWE career tomorrow?
It got leaked that his
Yeah,
contract is up in a couple days slash like 2 weeks. I'd say yeah,
yeah.
because like he when
The
over the past couple months when he did like his TNA return, there was it was
was
what was the PLE that him and Cena went at it?
Um,
Was it
was
Clash in Paris?
was it? I don't know. Was it WrestlePalooza?
No, that was no, that was him and Brock.
I don't know. Yeah,
Anyways,
he in a farewell tour. We'll just say
right,
that.
right. So like. he's kind of on the downhill of it anyways, and I think that you like you're building Gunther up kind of how example when Brock beat the streak when he fought Cena at SummerSlam, you can't have a 50-50 match because
Hmm.
you've built Gunther up as the destroyer and ender of fun. So it's like you
Yeah.
can't have him make Cena finally give up and then have AJ 2 months a month later come in and we did it for the old guys.
Yeah, what they could do, and I'm kind of just thinking about this on the fly
Hmm.
because you mentioned TNA, and everyone knows TNA um is the house that AJ Styles built.
Right.
So um, what if, because that match is probably going to be prior to the Rumble. I'm
I've
guessing
got
the
I've
Rumble's
got
last.
I've got the four matches.
Okay, so let me go through this real quick, and then we'll
Yep.
go through the other matches. But so imagine if say this is the first match on the card, right?
Hmm.
Gunther beats AJ Styles, right? Beats him. AJ's got to retire. They go backstage, right? I forget. Are they? They're both on Raw, so they got Adam Pearce back there,
Hmm.
right? Adam Pearce is like, "Hey AJ, I need your Royal Rumble ball. Like he beat you. You were supposed to enter this match. He beat you fair and square. Like I need your ball, right?" So he's about to hand over his ball, but then whoever the TNA commissioner is, he comes on screen with a new contract for AJ Styles. AJ fucking signs it. In the contract it states that he can enter the Rumble. He gets his ball back. He enters the Rumble, wins the Rumble, goes on to WrestleMania, wins the championship, has his farewell tour, and Gunther still beats him at the end of his farewell tour. That's
That'd
that's
be
how I would do
that'd be really funny, and that's really long term, thinking. Because then it's like, okay, well, how do we plan on AJ's farewell tour, and all that jazz.
it.
I think that eventually down the line, they're setting up a career killer because it's what they
They
trademarked
trademarked
for.
that. They recently trademarked that too. Career
Yeah,
killer.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. They'll have career killer versus whenever Randy's time is up, the legend killer. That's kind of like the Brock would be another interesting one. I just
There's some guys that like Gunther. When it's all said and done, Gunther could be the greatest heel of all time if he just
yeah,
retires all these fights.
because it's like, dude, you like all these young adults and adults now. It's like, dude, you're ending my childhood.
Yes,
So
yeah,
fuck you,
definitely.
buddy.
So what's the other matches on the card that
All
we can
right.
talk about real quick?
So the opening match, it looks like, is, well, this is not in order, but
Yeah.
so this is how it's listed. So it's the women's Royal Rumble match.
Which okay, let me ask your opinion about this. Do
Yep.
you do you like the women's Rumble match?
I think that it is a. I was kind of skeptical when they put it in because I always thought it was super like cool and interesting when like Beth Phoenix or Karma would enter like the men's rumble and then get like an elimination. Oh, or remember when Nia Jax entered and then just everyone hit her with like their finishing move and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
Or she allowed truth. That was funny.
yeah,
When our the wrong Rumble. But so the reason I ask this is because for me, again, I love the concept of the Royal Rumble match. I love how, anyone can come from behind the curtain, any 2 minutes, whatever. But the problem with the women's Rumble is
the
that
dimensions in the ring.
they're way too short to go over the top rope.
Yeah,
And like when they try to eliminate them, a lot of times it looks super sloppy because you can't like just clothesline them over the top rope, or you like they usually bounce on top of the top rope, get to the fucking it's like the old Nintendo 64 video games when you're doing a rumble and they get on the apron and then you got to hit them off the apron. Like
Uh-huh.
it's almost like every elimination and it just looks all very sloppy. You need people like Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, Charlotte Flair, like some of the taller women
Rhea.
to gorilla press people just and get most of the eliminations because when you have Alexa Bliss trying to fucking throw somebody over when she's 5 feet of fury, like
Feet of Fury is awesome.
it looks stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really interesting to me when, because once again, the concept is great. How can you execute it? Because there's no way to change the dimensions of the ring.
Right.
So
So
I don't
I would
know.
actually I what I would change about it because of the height difference between the men and the women, what I would change about it is the women, if they go through the second rope, that accounts as an elimination. I know it would kind of take away a
Yeah,
little
kind of.
bit.
Yeah, the mystique.
Yeah, but it just like there's been so many what seems like botches or just sloppiness when it comes to eliminations in the women's that it kind of just is what it is, and you're like, okay,
Uh-huh. I actually didn't think about this or know about it until a couple years ago. How, like, you know how certain matches have like match directors like in the back,
Mhm.
to whatever. I didn't know that like they have like three, four five match directors, and they're all directing certain sections of the Rumble.
Yeah, yeah. Which makes it super interesting on how they coordinate
Because,
all of
dude,
that, right?
it's like in terms of like planning and the choreographs of it, like it's one of the most random, kind of chaotic, events to
Yeah,
plan.
right. Absolutely. So, who do you got winning the women's rumble?
I think, obviously, I think the women's Rumble is more. It's more of a open door for, like, you can make a case for half the women's roster.
Right.
I would love
I
to
thought
see.
before I sorry to cut you off,
Yeah,
but I for the first one, I thought it was so open that they could have made like some mid Carter, like get to that next level. I was so pissed that I forget who won the first women's rumble, but like it was like a main event chick, and I'm like, dude, you could have made someone off of this match, and you decide not to. But anyway,
I think it'd be. I think it'd be awesome if Chelsea Green bullshitted her way to a win. That'd be so funny because she's been the ass of jokes for years. I think I think you brought it up where it's like number 28 and 29 eliminate each other, and then she comes out as 30, and it's like, oh, I win.
that was on the first season of Unreal or Uncut or whatever it's called for the WWE Netflix series.
That's
That was
awesome.
an idea last year, and I was like, that would have been awesome.
Hmm.
So I think if I had to pick someone, I'm going to go with Liv Morgan. I think she's
Yeah.
the favorite. My dark horse is Chelsea Green, because I think Chelsea would be awesome. She's like the perfect amount of like annoying and like just a great character. For a lot of the women, I don't feel like a lot of their I feel like a lot of them don't have personalities, and Chelsea Green she separates herself from the rest on just being that just annoying fucking like you know
Annoying comedic presence on the show.
yeah. My bold ass prediction
Hmm.
is that Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and a third are the last three, and Raquel eliminates Liv Morgan to win the Rumble, and Dominic gets a new boo out of Raquel.
That would be really interesting, especially for the fact that because eventually they got to turn, right? Eventually
Right.
someone's got to give, and when she came back, it's like, well, not saying that she's like kind of fizzled out, but at a certain point, something's got to give in terms of like what are they doing together now?
Right. Yeah, because Liv kind of went with Roxanne. They're
Yeah.
like besties now. Raquel's kind of focusing on the main title.
Hmm.
And I think, ever since the Kevin Nash input on his podcast about Raquel, she's been working like a big girl,
Wait, what he say?
huh?
What Kevin Nash say?
Kevin Nash said she's got to start working like a big, like
Like
you are bigger than
like a big
all the other
wrestler?
girls. Yeah, like you have to
I
start
mean,
wrestling like a almost like a giant. And she
at a
took
certain,
advice
yeah.
and because she's a lot bigger than the rest of the girls. And like if you're wrestling like you're smaller, you don't have that like that's her gift as far as her presence in the ring is being
Yeah.
bigger than the so she's got to start acting like it, and she started. I think just within the last week or so, she cut probably the best promo of her career.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I think she's starting to get a little bit of a boost. And I would like to see her turn on Liv in the Rumble, or at least be eliminate her and have some kind of thing going on with the Judgment Day of like what the hell was that, like what's going on here.
And then there's the
Um,
internal turmoil between them all,
right, and then you can take Raquel out of the equation, or you can have Liv move on. But
especially with what's
yeah,
been going on with like Finn Balor and all that jazz,
right,
where Punk's kind of called him out and like, okay, well, do you need them or do they need
yeah.
you?
Right.
Hmm.
So, yeah. So, I know you said Chelsea Green. Is that your pick to win?
I would love to like, I would love to see Chelsea Green win. You know what would really be interesting? What if Alexa Bliss eliminates Charlotte at the end,
I would like
and
that too.
that's the split
Yeah, I would like
because
that
they've
too.
already been like the frenemy thing. So like you have that moment where like you have arguably the greatest the most accomplished woman wrestler ever, and then
Hmm.
you have Alexa Bliss and Charlotte tries to like I am me. You eliminate yourself, and so and then there's the the pushing, the shoving, the fighting, and then it could be something where Charlotte tries to like slam her over, holds onto the apron. Charlotte goes to hit her, and she does like the almost like the Matrix, grab the top rope and just bend down to pull, and she goes
Yeah.
over. That would be pretty sick.
Um.
Um.
What if this happens? What if Alexa Bliss enters the Rumble early
Mhm.
as like the version of Alexa Bliss? She gets eliminated. She comes back, later in the Rumble as like the Fiend type character,
Yeah,
Alexa Bliss, where she's all dark. Charlotte looks all confused, like, well, what the hell
and
is going
she
on with
beats
this?
her
And then she
ass.
just beats the shit out of Charlotte,
That'd
eliminates
be
her, and ends up winning.
awesome. That would be
I think
awesome.
that
Do you think that there's any chance? Because obviously there's gonna be guest or legend spots in both rumbles. Do you think that there's a chance that like AJ Lee or if they bring Paige back that any of those two women win?
I think AJ Lee has a chance.
Hmm.
What so I actually I've been writing Royal Rumble articles almost every day.
Yeah.
Um, different takes and whatever. So one of mine was the top, my five favorites to win the Rumble for the women's side. I did the men's side as well, but for the women's side,
Hmm.
I had picked, Chelsea Green, Liv, Raquel. Explained why. I also put Nikki Bella in there.
That would be
And
really interesting.
the reason why I think her or someone like Trish or Lita could win is because for the simple fact that these three women are involved. I mean, Lita's not as involved as the other two right now, but all three women didn't have a chance to win the Rumble because they didn't have one in their
Right.
era. Well, do you want to give a Hall of Famer
The
that
nod.
accolade?
Uh-huh.
Yes, and I could totally see one of them winning just to headline WrestleMania, lose at WrestleMania, and that be the program. but I could totally see one of those three winning.
Hmm.
Um, especially Nikki Bella, since she's in the program right now. I know she's kind of just getting talent over, but she's still a name. And like
Yeah.
from what we've learned over the last at least couple WrestleManias, you know, it's more now I feel like it's more about the big name than the story going to WrestleMania, because they're getting so many more viewers with TKO being involved and just trying to make WrestleMania bigger and better and badder than
Hmm.
ever. So and what draws that big names that people know. So
Right.
Chelsea Green scream off the page. It does for wrestling fans, but if
Right.
I'm a casual viewer that, like the Super Bowl, I only tune in to that one day,
Do I
you're
want to
gonna
want?
want the
Right. And like that's another thing too, where it's like I'm not saying WWE has to, if they consider putting over, not saying aging talent, but like your legends that in women and men that aren't in their prime. It's okay. Well, what's the timetable for the rest of your career? Like if you're in it for the potential, like the next 3 to 5 years, we might put you winning down the line. If it's like their last year, then it's okay. This is your swan song, where your angle could be. I'm doing it one more time.
right. So,
Yeah.
what's the next match on the card? We already went
Uh,
through Gunther, okay, so we don't have to go through that.
that was what was next.
We already
The
went through
next
that
one
one.
is Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn.
For the title,
Yeah.
I obviously Drew McIntyre is going to win. Sami Zayn's not going to win.
Yeah.
They're
I would
you
be
know,
I would be shocked.
yeah, this is the classic Mick Foley spot. Sami Zayn's probably the closest thing as far as a lovable character since Mankind or Mick Foley. He's a main event. He's just underneath that like that first main
He
event tier.
he's like the high end of tier two.
Yes. So, it's similar to Royal Rumble 2000, I believe, where Triple H fought Cactus Jack for the title. Sammy's gonna probably put a good fight, but they're gonna have Drew the champion most likely going into WrestleMania,
That's
unless
my
they have,
guess.
yeah,
And
unless they do a pivot where Brock Lesnar wins it at the Elimination Chamber or something. It's probably gonna be Drew McIntyre.
yeah, I don't see any scenario where I don't see any scenario or reason for Sammy to win it now. I think in the future he can and probably will. My biggest thing just though is the whenever they have any results happen, why and what does it mean for the next 8 months? Or
Yeah.
because it's the road to WrestleMania, 3 months.
And Sammy's a type of guy that they might do WrestleZania. They'll have him win it at Mania when it is
He'll
his,
have his own like storyline.
how they had Kofi Mania, they had, whatever,
Hmm.
insert your guy to win the title once because of his longevity.
Right.
But yeah, I could see, especially WrestleZania, I just made that up in my head and that just,
You
goes together. So
you might need to trademark that, and WWE might might cut you a big fat check.
might have to. So anyway, is
Hmm.
there another match on there?
Just the men's Royal Rumble, but that's it.
Okay, so we get into the men's Royal Rumble. Before we get into the men's Royal Rumble, do you have any
Love that.
favorite Royal Rumbles from yesteryear?
I thought 2009 was awesome because that was when my boy Randy won it. He also won it in what 2017. But once again, that's
Oh,
kind of like a more of a not forgotten one because he ended up winning the title at Mania against Bray Wyatt. Um, I thought 2011 probably had the worst winner in Alberto Del Rio, but I thought it was super cool how like he eliminated whoever, and then Santino came out and it's like, oh, he was never eliminated. And then he hit the Cobra, and he's over there like fucking losing his
yeah.
mind and doing the trumpet. And then he goes to eliminate Alberto, and he turns the corner, throws him on the top rope. I thought 2012 was pretty cool when Sheamus won it.
Yeah, I think
Um,
Sheamus is the worst winners.
you think
I've
so?
just never been a Sheamus guy. I've
Yeah.
never been a Sheamus guy. I don't see his appeal. Like I just like whatever, dude.
Yeah.
He's ginger and he's
Um,
really.
I don't. ever think that there was like a bad Royal Rumble, I'm gonna say 2009, just because I thought they had a lot of good shock factors too. Like I remember that was when RVD came back for a little
Yeah.
bit. I think that was when no, that was 2011 when the Boogeyman came back for a minute. Yeah, I'll probably say 2009.
So, 92 is considered the best Royal Rumble of all
Mm-hmm.
time because it's just the way that it was coordinated
Yeah.
and put together. A bunch of Hall of Famers, Ric Flair winning it all, and winning the WWF title. One of my favorites was always number 95,
Mm.
with Shawn Michaels entering number one. I think it was the first time someone entered number one and won it. That was really the year that we knew that both feet had to hit the ground. British Bulldog thinking that he won it, and Shawn Michaels coming back in and knocking him over the top rope. British Bulldog at the time was one of my favorites, with the long dreads, braids. I always liked that look. I liked the '94 concept of Luger and Bret Hart. I didn't like either of these guys, but the fact that both of them went over the top rope. I mean, I know we saw that with Cena and Batista, but I don't think it was planned, or maybe it was, but
That's one
Vince
of the
ended up
best.
tearing
I was about to say
odds, which was
that's one of the best stories ever, dude. Like, have you ever heard of Edge's point of view of the Rumble?
no. Well, maybe
So
it depends on what you say.
so Edge was on a podcast and he talked about this. He said most people remember that. People forget I was the third guy, and when I got eliminated, I'm walking around the corner, of the ring, and I see them both feet hit the ground, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" Because he was like, it was genuinely at the exact same time, couldn't be
Mhm.
planned. And then he said, I'm walking down the ramp, and here comes Vince, throwing his jacket and losing his mind. And then he dives into the ring, and Edge turns around and he tries to get up and collapses. And then he's just barking orders sitting down. And so Edge says, he's like, oh, that's weird. He said he goes to the back and people start clearing the halls and saying, hey, don't come out of the halls, and he's like, Why?" And then when you find out that why later on, it was because Vince didn't want any help, so he could walk on two torn fucking quads all the way out to the back down the hall
Yeah.
with no help, to the ambulance or whatever. And I'm like, the fact that bro was in his 60s then and walked not only down back up the ramp, but down the hall to wherever on two torn fucking quads, like that shit's insane.
Yeah, and dude, just imagine your boss just barking orders and yelling, like screaming at the top of his lungs,
Turning
but
red.
he can't sit up, or he can't stand up, and he's just sitting there. Like, dude, I don't know how those guys didn't bust out laughing. But with the '94 one, both the
Mm,
guys, hit the floor at the same time. It was planned. I think it was probably the most unique finish of all time. Both guys went on to WrestleMania to face the champion Yokozuna. I liked the '93 one. I know I'm going kind of in order of like the early '90s.
yeah.
The '93 one was one of my favorite winners. It was one of the worst finishes to a Royal Rumble because for some reason Macho Man thought he could pin Yokozuna in a Royal Rumble, and he just got tossed over the top rope in a pinning position, which didn't really make sense. But I was always a fan of Yokozuna. He not someone scared me as a kid. I was just like, man, that's a fat man, and I don't want him to sit on me like he's sitting on his opponents.
Right.
Um, but I really, obviously Cena's return in '08 was probably the biggest moment of a Royal
Yeah.
Rumble. Dude, I liked last year's. Last year's was cool. The reason I liked it is because no one and their mother thought Jey Uso was going to win that thing. I always say, like, they portray this match as anyone's got a chance, and it's the luck of the draw and all this other shit, and it's not a normal wrestling match. So, like,
Right.
for me, like, you know. I like the concept of the winner going on to WrestleMania, but they definitely fucking pigeonholed themselves because you're gonna most likely get a main event star. I've been saying for years. Actually, our Truth retweeted this last year when I wrote an article, which was really cool. I pitched an idea for him to win the Rumble. It was always uh, my idea for Heath Slater to win because I think he would play this perfect storyline that I have out.
Yeah,
But imagine, Heath Slater or our Truth winning the Rumble, going on Raw, and basically being like, I beat 29 other guys. I'm unstoppable. And every week they fight somebody, and every week they put up their WrestleMania spot because they think they're unstoppable. They win, consecutive weeks in a row, like by fluky wins or whatever. And then finally, when you get your guy that you want to main event WrestleMania, you have him come and beat him. But it would give the shock factor, at least for the Royal Rumble.
yeah,
So I loved last year where Jey Uso won. I know a lot of internet wrestling community people were not happy with the win because they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he's going to be on WrestleMania." Whatever, dude. Who gives a fuck? Like, enjoy the show. It was a shock that he eliminated Cena at the end. Everyone thought Cena was going to win because of his farewell tour and shit like that. It sparked the Elimination Chamber where he had to go through. The heel turn was great. The execution of the storyline wasn't, but anyway,
hmm
some of my favorites this year. Um,
Really quick before you
who
get into
do
this
you
one,
who? Well, yeah, okay, go ahead.
what are some of the things that you enjoyed seeing? Like one of my things as a kid, like I remember like the when Kofi would somehow survive, whether it be doing the handstand or I remember one year when John Morrison ran off the barricade and jumped, or like once again Kofi doing pogo sticks from the chair or crazy shit like that. I'm like, yo, this dude's a magician. Like, bro, it's just insane.
There was one year, I think I'm not. I could be way off. I thought it was early to mid '90s, but it could have been in the 2000s, where Jerry the King Lawler hid underneath the ring.
Yeah,
That I thought was cool. Vince McMahon, when he won it in '99, he left the ring and went backstage and basically like didn't come back into the ring until there was
yeah.
like one person left, which was Stone Cold or whatever. Um,
Another thing
and
that I
so
really like, really quick, I like when R Truth does his goofy shit. Like
yeah,
a
grab the
couple,
ladder,
huh?
like grab the ladder. He
That
brought the ladder. Like, there's no
yeah,
money.
well, yeah, that was awesome. I thought a couple years ago when him and the Miz were tag teaming, and he came in to try to get tagged, and fucking Miz is like, "Truth, help me!" and he's like just reaching his arm out as far as he can, and
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. It might have been last year where Truth entered the women's, and then he got
Yep.
immediately he and then he's looking around, and then Adam Pearce comes up like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he's like, "You mean tell me all those are women in there?" And it's just like our Truth being just the comical character that he is.
Yeah. I completely agree. So
hmm
getting into this year, who do you think should win? Like who would you book to win? And then we'll talk about who do you think is gonna win.
Who would I book to win?
Yes.
I would love to see, and I hate that they do this. I hate that they like announce what would have been cool, like hidden things. Like
Hmm.
example, when Brock called into Pat McAfee, and because obviously Pat with ESPN and all them, they're in not in cahoots, but they're in partnership, and it's like, oh, I'm in the Rumble, and I'm like, man, that would have been fucking cool at like 19, where everyone's just there's only a couple people standing, and all you hear is Brock's entrance. It's like, oh fuck, he could last the rest of the Rumble. Um,
Or, or what about this? They do the same thing that they did, but they wait till the Rumble. Like, tell Pat McAfee to be like, because I know he's got a show on ESPN, but after his show, it always says like, tune in to YouTube for more because they're still live on YouTube.
right.
What if he had a special show watching the Rumble, and the clock goes down, it hits zero, it buzzes, the Titantron or the whatever they call it now, the screen
Yeah.
shows Pat McAfee's show, they're live, and Pat McAfee gets a fucking FaceTime from Brock Lesnar, and he's like, "Wait, what? You're entering?" And then his music hits, and you know,
Yeah,
it
that'd
could
be sick.
be,
Or like Oba Femi is so interesting to me because the ruler, the destroyer, he's got, and he's just there's something there, and if they butcher and flop his character, it's like, dude, he's got the mic skills for a big guy, which for a not enforcer, but like as like a unstoppable force, because more often than not, you see these big guys, and it's like they can't cut a promo. They not saying that Brock needed it, but a Paul Heyman voice to kind of
yeah,
be like, I am the mouth, he's the brawn.
right,
Um, like I thought it would have been pretty cool for him to just now people probably would have assumed he would be in anyways, but when the shit gets announced, I'm like, dude, that kind of just takes a little bit of the fun out of it. Like example,
yeah,
if through the grapevines, now they wouldn't do it twice, if Seth miraculously came back for the Rumble and it got leaked, it's like, damn, dude, it would have been fucking sick. Just the small tidbits of like um I don't know. Maybe that's just tuning into what I liked as a child to like the shock factor. But it's like, dude, it's the internet. Everything gets out, and it just kind of takes a little bit of the wind out of my sails. But to the original question, who I think if I were booking
I
it,
were booking
obviously I wouldn't do like
I
Roman or
would like
Cody again. That makes no
again.
fucking sense. It's not doing anything for either of them. If you want to
You want to
if you want to really
want to
shock
really
it, have Austin Theory eliminate Braun Breaker at the end. Now that's too soon of a rift
yeah.
because he just joined. That'd be interesting. But my guess, I'd probably if I was booking it, I'd probably do Penta.
Huh. That's it's not who I would expect you to say, but I can't argue Penta's awesome in the
Like
ring,
he's
and
got
he's
the
over.
he's over. He's on fire. He connects with the fans, and there's just something about his just character. And I feel like
Yeah,
when it comes to these big PLEs, who are your guys? Who's on fire? How do we explode them?
yeah. So I have a couple of guys
I'm just curious.
that
Who
I
did you
would
think I was gonna say, or are you about to get into one?
I'm probably gonna get into one
Yeah.
that I thought this is the small group that I thought one of the guys that I mentioned I thought you were gonna mention. So
Hmm.
we go with an LA Knight.
Yeah.
Um, I'd like to see him. Yeah, I'd like to see him win it.
Uh,
A Jacob Fatu,
that
Jacob
that was
Fatu.
another one that I was teetering between back and forth because
Yeah,
it's like he's a monster too.
right. I think they could do a very cool angle with the Vision. If and have Braun Breaker win it, or anyone in the Vision for that fact. Like I would be
Yeah.
okay with anyone in the Vision winning it. But the way they would have to do it, or they could do it, that would be cool, is literally get all four of those guys, yeah, four of them
Yeah.
in the ring at the same time and just dominate. And then when it comes to the end, Paul Heyman kind of gives them orders on who to make a win, which would probably be Braun Breaker, and
Right.
they're all just for the team, and they're like, "Yep, that's what we're gonna do."
Do
I
you
think that would be
remember
a cool.
in Do you remember in 2011 when and this has happened in previous Rumbles, but this is just the most notable one, where it was right after CM Punk took over the Nexus and they were like the new Nexus, and
Yeah,
like they had like eight, well they had like five of the first eight people be Nexus, members of the Nexus, and then for everyone that was new, they'd come in and they would just beat the shit out of and get out to kind of have their leader Punk get rest, something like
yep,
that.
that's what I would do for the Vision, and I would have them win it. Or again, I have a soft spot for Uncle Howdy, and
That'd be pretty sick too.
it would be sick because he's a leader of a faction. We watched this movie called Circus Kane last night. I don't know if you ever heard it,
No.
but it's literally I've never heard of this. Didn't know any connection. It is where he got the Uncle Howdy character. It's
Wow.
100% him. And so it was interesting to me. It was a little gory for the girlfriend, so she didn't really care for it. But it was cool to me to see literally Uncle Howdy's character on a movie about a fucking fucked up circus. and I looked it up to see if like if it was inspiration or whatever, and they pretty much without saying it said it.
Yeah.
Um, but I go back to listening to Bruce Pritchard's podcast about WrestleMania. I forget which number WrestleMania, but I think it was around 93, 94 that they had this idea of having Doink the Clown win the Rumble to face Bret Hart at WrestleMania, and they were going to turn the entire WrestleMania set into like a demented circus, which I thought would have been awesome. Um, I think they could do something similar with Howdy and make
Mm,
it like a whole themed thing, but they won't do that. And like I said, I have a little bit of soft spot for him because Bray was my favorite wrestler, maybe of all time. He's
hmm.
definitely up there. And I liked him prior to his death. I just want to throw that out there. Like I know he got more, probably more popular after he
Right.
died, like a lot of people that die early do. Um, but I liked him back since like the Wyatt family, like the backyard Duck Dynasty look type weird shit.
Hmm.
Anyway, who I think is gonna win is between two people, and one I'd be okay with, and one I would hate. And the one I'd be okay with is Seth Rollins. He was on one of the ESPN shows
Hmm.
with Stephen A. Smith, and
Yeah, I
like he was
saw.
like, "Oh, I'm not going to be in it," and like people are like, "Yeah, buddy, you're going to be number 30." But it makes sense for him to win, especially if the Vision's in there. He can be the main catalyst of eliminating them. He can go on to WrestleMania. He's got the story with Punk.
I just
He
thought
doesn't
about
want
it.
him to be.
How long?
Um,
I, Real
but
quick,
I think
how long has the Vision been around?
less than a year. Last
Never.
WrestleMania.
Okay, I was gonna say because what if they did this? What if Rollins comes back and it's him and Braun at the end, and that's where the friction starts?
Hmm.
But if it's been less than a year, do you really build this thing up for less than a year, then to just
Well,
kind of?
they already turned on Seth
Yeah, that's
because
true.
Seth got hurt.
Yeah,
So they
yeah,
they turned on him.
yeah, that's
And
true.
so Seth would come back and eliminate the Vision, go on to WrestleMania, beat Punk or face Punk to try to fuck
Yeah,
him
it's a good
over being
point.
the champion. But who I really think is going to win, and I can't stand it, is Cody. Um, I don't know why they took the title off of him right now. It doesn't make sense unless he's going to win the Rumble. That'll make him a three-time winner to tie Austin, and
Wouldn't it be? Oh no, it wouldn't be three in a row. It'd be 3 or 4 years.
yeah, and that's what Stone Cold did in the late 90s, early 2000s. He did like 97, 98, and 2001 maybe, or 2000. Um, which I don't like. I feel like Cody is Big Dog Roman Reigns, where they're just shoving him down your.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so sick of this guy. I was not a fan of him at the beginning anyway, and I'm like, dude, I'm so sick of it, and I think he's gonna win, um, and he's probably gonna fight Drew at Mania.
One of my favorites, because I remember Cody from like when he first started to when he joined Legacy, and then when he had and then when he was dashing Cody Rhodes. My favorite Cody Rhodes like spiel was when he had the mask. Like that shit was
Yeah.
awesome when he was out there, like using his mask as a weapon, and he was Intercontinental champion. But yeah, like with them, because he's used the term like I'm the quarterback of the locker room or whatever, and he undoubtedly is like the face of the post Roman era,
Hmm.
for the short time that it's been. But at a certain point, you have to kind of knock your heroes down sometimes,
Yeah.
and
Or tearing
if
him or something. Like he's got like I'm just so sick of. So, what do you want to talk about? Come on, my buff. I'm the American Nightmare. My dad never finished his story, so I have to finish my story. Like I can't. I'm
that's
done. My dad never won a championship. That doesn't mean I'm winning the Rumble. That doesn't mean I'm going to headline WrestleMania.
that's nuts.
But anyway,
But yeah, I hope that we can get like a super enjoyable one where we have a quarter to a third being guests, and then we'll have the
mhm,
shock factor at the end of I don't know. If Jericho comes back for 6 months, they wouldn't, but it'd be pretty cool to see him win.
yeah. Who you got winning though?
Probably Braun.
Braun Breaker?
I think he's too green slightly, but he'll win, and then they'll have Drew drop to or because he had the beef with Punk to start the year, so he
Hmm.
kind of rekindles that.
I will. I'll make you a gentleman's bet
Oh no,
that Roman Reigns eliminates Braun Breaker because it's good. I
I could
feel.
see
I have a
that.
feeling. I have a feeling that it's going to be Roman versus Braun at WrestleMania.
I could
Um,
see, yeah, I could see that.
So, but anyway,
Hmm.
I hope everyone enjoys the Royal Rumble this weekend, our favorite event of the year. Thank you for joining us here on the Legends Clubhouse. Um, we have shows on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So check those out here on the New Leaf News YouTube channel. Go over check out newleafnews.com/network. Both of them take you to the same great site. We have great daily content, whether it's sports, entertainment, uh, you name it, we got it. Murder stuff, horoscopes. We have a bunch of categories, some new stuff too. I don't know. Anyway, and we also are on, 5 different platforms of social media. We know you have social media out there, so we'd appreciate the follow, whether it's Blue Sky X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I think I named all 5. Yeah. Anyway, go follow us on those at New Leaf News. You can follow me at Bobby Caboose on Instagram on X. That is at Lawson_1226. Until next time, I hope you guys enjoy your weekend and happy rumbling. Lawson, if you
Ha-
want to take us out.
Happy rumbling. We'll see you beautiful people Monday afternoon at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, we hope you enjoy your weekend. And once again, if you're going to go to a Royal Rumble party where there may or may not be alcohol, don't drive. Get a get a designated driver. But once again, for New Leaf News and
Hey,
Ledge Class, I'm Lawson. Huh?
you can DoorDash your alcohol. They do that.
Or DoorDash your alcohol. For New Leaf News and Legends Clubhouse, I'm Austin Turner. That is Bobby Caboose. We will see you beautiful people Monday afternoon at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube. Until then, hope you enjoy your weekend and peace.